watching this week's show with DaNn and Mike.
We return.
This week's show podcast definitely didn't get interrupted by AI getting angry with that. We talk about it on the first time we tried this. But no, we've had a very exciting WWE week. Obviously, we did the predictions last week, and now we've got everything that happened. But you were saying the last time that SmackDown was pretty packed. Then Elimination Chamber and Raw, so there's an awful lot to get through.
There's been a lot going on this week.
Yeah, so first thing from SmackDown, I think that I quite liked, is we talked about how it was a bit upsetting for Jey Uso to have the Elimination Chamber shoved on his shoulders after Bronson Reed tore his bicep.
Yes.
I think that creative very much recognised that it was going to bring a lot of hassle down on...
It got a lot of heat, didn't it?
Yes.
On the social media. Talking of which, follow us, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, that kind of thing.
Helps. Leave comments as well. We love hearing other people's thoughts about it. Even if you are a negative Nelly that runs a Facebook page, it gives me something to rage against because I hate wrestling Facebook pages. I think I've made that very obvious in times past. But no, I like the fact that they did the kind of fake attack.
What do you mean fake attack?
Oh, sorry, kayfabe attack.
It was real. He had to go off in an ambulance.
At least this one wasn't driven by LA Knight.
Getting ahead of yourself now. Spoilers.
But very, very clear that there was something to do with the Vision in the Elimination Chamber by the fact that the Vision member was meant to win the qualifier before he tore his bicep.
Yes.
And then obviously Logan got put back in, which made it actually 3 consecutive Elimination Chambers that he's been part of.
Yeah.
Which, given that he's now gone full-time roster as well, like John Cena said he should, to get taken seriously, our manager actually made a comment because she's pretty confident that, he would never have wished injury on the Bronze. But with an injury happening to Bronson and Bron, and Seth, to be fair, it has elevated Logan Paul to being like the strong guy of the remaining Vision.
By default.
Yeah, maybe we should call it the Viz, because they've lost 3 letters. But I actually thought that for a lack of preparation and the way that things... Obviously, I think they probably didn't change the match booking very much, that Bronson probably would have done the same things that Logan did.
You're going to take out these people.
Yeah, that's what Bron was going to do. This is the thing which I find either exciting or disappointing, depending on how creative handles it, is I would have preferred Bronson Reed to be in there, because the sense of him coming back out, given the history of the bazillion tsunamis that he did to Seth to make a name of himself, and then weirdly being brought into the Vision by Seth, that felt like it was a very solid story arc. But I also don't mind the fact that everybody was getting a little bit tired of the Masked Man, and now they're having far more fun with it than they were before.
Because there's multiple Masked Men for Chamber. Right. The one in SmackDown was when he was demasked.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, who the hell are you? It was actually one of the guys from Seth Rollins' own academy.
Yes.
His wrestling academy. Back.
Seth Stooges, I believe, is one of the coined terms online, is him sending out all of his academy people.
Yeah, that was good though. It was like...
I actually, given the fact that the first time round it was obviously Austin Theory and he demasked himself quite quickly, I quite like the fact that they did a bit of an anticlimactic demasking first, thus to make people think, is the WWE screwing this up? So by the time that you had the multiple ones coming in on Chamber, and then Seth obviously revealing himself again, yeah.
Not that kind of reveal.
No, but it had a pop, because even I sat there, I was like, are they actually going to demask today, or is it just going to be a bit more screwing about? And then they led me down the garden path of thinking that was the only thing that was going to be interference in the match. So when Drew came in being the best type of heel champion, where he's just screwing everything up for his main rival, I really enjoyed that too.
Well, he's got a match against Cody next week.
See, this is interesting. I'm not sure how this week actually now, it's this SmackDown coming, because it's the SmackDown title.
Yeah.
I'm still of the opinion, and it's backed up by facts and figures, that approval ratings of SmackDown have gone up since Drew's been on the title. I think it would be a big misstep by the writing team to put it back on Cody. I don't think Cody at the moment is more interesting because he's a bit unhinged. He's running around doing stupid stuff. I got a year, so did you, so did everybody else, of Cody worrying about being champion Cody. I quite like unhinged, fighting back to try and get what he's lost Cody because he does better promos when he's acting like that. He's not as restrained in the type of matches or the way he has to wrestle them. So I think Drew should still keep the title because there is still history between Drew and Randy. Obviously Jelly Roll and Logan Paul, that sort of thing. But I wonder again...
Randy teams up with Jacob Fatu.
Something like that. Like, I still think that Drew versus Randy is a better WrestleMania main event than Cody versus Drew, because we've seen it too many times.
That's why it's on a SmackDown.
Yeah, I'd be very, very surprised if it trades place. But one thing that does annoy me about Facebook pages is the thing that we talked about last time, is them saying that Cody as a human being, like behind Kayfabe, is the type of arrogant person that needs to be in the main event of everything and all of this. One, he is a champion contract, so he has to do PLEs.
Yeah, he said this on last week's show, so yeah.
Secondly, I'm not sure, like, yes, it's the greatest stage of them all. It is the showcase of the year to be at Mania, but I don't think Cody is that type of person from everything else that we've seen about him, including before you started watching, winning the Rumble, facing Roman at WrestleMania and losing at 39, to then have to do another year of chasing the storyline. He's clearly not a guy that needs anywhere in the company. He's quite happy with his position.
If not, he's got his podcast.
Exactly. I mean, I got to be honest, that it's not a podcast I actually watch very often because it can feel quite stilted and quite like, it's almost like it's too over-prepared. It's too every word is well thought out. When it was him and Cena, I can't remember the opinion online, but it was like, this is the most contrived fake podcast in the world because both of them overthink everything that they're about to say. But he does get some good stories out of people like Kevin Owens and Finn Balor. Yeah. But no, I really don't want it to happen. I can see it still happening and being an infuriating decision, but obviously to cover what happened at the Elimination Chamber, Randy won.
He did.
I did like the way it came about as well. Like I say, with Drew coming in and
RKO'd.
And I love, did you see the little interview that Randy Orton did afterwards? I think it appeared on the post show, where he's like, I didn't want to have to RKO Cody. He's like, but the opportunity is there. And he's like, well, actually scratch that. He's like, I quite enjoyed RKOing Cody.
I like it said on his t-shirt, RKO everyone.
I don't like that t-shirt design. I liked his previous ones with RKO everybody. I don't like, but then again, every t-shirt that I don't like is going to be a whole group of people that do like it, because not everything can be designed for me.
You are very particular on your fashion.
I like what I like. I actually have 2 more WWE t-shirts coming at some point, so they'll come out on the podcast. I did feel sorry for LA in the Elimination Chamber.
Oh, I was going to say, it was in Chicago, man.
Mostly because, and he has watched the stuff that we post about him before, and that I think it's very obvious he wasn't too happy with my opinion last time. But that jump up to do the elbow,
the fumble.
Yeah, I have seen him fumble that move like 3 or 4 times over the last year. I don't...
Give it up.
Kinda, yeah. Find a different move. Like, LA's creative. He doesn't need to keep doing the same moveset.
Or learn to do it properly.
The thing is I think it's more the point that he has to do it at the end of the match when he's gassed. And your legs are going to be less reliable at that point, unless you're a young OG like Siobhan Evans. But even Siobhan screwed up that RKO big move with Randy like a few months back. The problem,
he's young. That's what they'll put that.
And because he does so much more high flying stuff. But to me, the only important part of LA getting up on the turnbuckle like that is when he gets the crowd to do his chant. He doesn't have to jump up in the 2 stages, because if it's not working and you can't keep your feet, find another way to sell it. Find another way to make that same move look good without the risk of fumbling constantly. Because the problem is 2 things happen. One, it's never good when you get booed for a fumble immediately. And then when a fellow wrestler, Randy, is caught on social media or like somebody filming and posted that he was laughing about it.
Yeah, when he was like face down, he was just like...
And it's unfortunate because the general opinion of LA Online is that he is incredibly loved. He also seems to go down well quite a lot backstage. There's a few people that don't like him, Drew being one of them.
Drew doesn't like anyone.
Well, this is true. Though I think it was genuine problems, though, on that. Remind me to go over something I saw over the last couple of days, which I don't think is WWE approved. That's come out online. You may have seen it, but we'll get into that in a bit because it relates to one of the chamber matches. But yeah, I thought that for something that had injury going into it, the men's chamber was entertaining. I liked it. And off the back of the two matches that won Elimination Chamber, I thought Finn and CM put on a nice show. It wasn't boring. It did kind of make me want to see Finn get up to the main event level within the next couple of years again. Because I like him. I think he still wrestles like an absolute champ. Like,
yeah.
The only time, and it's unfortunate because he had the title, is the only time that he's had a really devastating injury is when he got thrown back into the barricade 24 hours after getting the world title and dislocated his shoulder.
Yeah, I heard that.
And so to give, and I understand why, like, his push had been lost at that point because the injury took a long time to get past. But this is why I don't like the Judgment Day, and the Judgment Day needs to end, is it makes Finn look like a child because it's a clubhouse and it's silly.
Have you noticed which team the clubhouse has?
No.
There's a Patriots hat or motif there.
I mean, that's pretty cool for you, at least. I don't think it works very well for Dom either, because I want to see Dom have more storylines like he did with AJ Styles, where it's not always clubhouse interactions with JD and Finn and Liv and all that. We've got some unresolved storylines, like the fact that Finn took the hotel key card for Liv's room at one point, when Dom was still with Rhea, and there's so many things from the last couple of years to sow the dissolving of Judgment Day. Obviously, Raw with the IC title, they deliberately didn't help Dom, so I'm hoping that's another way.
They were going to, but Finn stopped it, which would then mean that that's laying the seeds for Finn and Dom to have a scrap.
This is what I'm thinking, is we've not seen Dom versus Finn versus JD, JD versus Dom, any of those combinations since Judgment Day's been a thing. I would love, because I really like JD as a wrestler. I think he's great. He's another one that the Judgment Day doesn't help. JD's an interesting guy that is hard as nails after he had that collapsed lung incident where he flipped off the ring and hit the desk, that really nasty looking one that happened a few months back. But it also...
Plus he's got a big head.
Bobblehead. But that would be a couple of months of storyline. Just the Judgment Day breaking apart and fighting each other, long enough to get past Mania, long enough to free up a world title that somebody like Finn then could go after, more properly than his CM attempt. And I also think they're laying groundwork for Liv taking the title off of Stephanie at WrestleMania.
Obviously.
Kind of, yeah. And then Raquel going after Liv, because there's that whole Rumble thing where she eliminated Raquel, and every time that Raquel tries to bring it up, Liv shuts it down. So I am wondering, are they putting all the pieces in that Judgment Day gets basically broken apart in that quiet period after WrestleMania where...
And then the Vision pick up the dregs so they can boost their numbers.
Or they just move into the clubhouse, you know?
The Vision House.
The Vision House, yes. That, to me, makes a lot more sense. That CM versus Finn, to be honest, it was one of those wrestling matches you always knew CM was going to win, because him and Roman make so much sense as a WrestleMania event, especially after the triple threat last year. The other, like, just one match being AJ versus Becky, I got to be honest.
We called it too predictable.
But I did
slow, boring match for me.
I thought AJ did a lot better than she's done in her other returning matches. She seemed less like clunky and slow. So Becky definitely did a good job of being the heel. That seemed like she didn't like her very much. But if you watch closely enough, you can see that she's constantly making sure that AJ knows what to do next. They've got their moves planned out. And I didn't think that AJ looked like a lame duck. If Nikki Bella had taken that title, I would have been like, you're okay, but you haven't wrestled to a high standard since coming back. AJ did actually give a much better match than I was expecting.
Yeah.
So, and they have recreated the not safe for work picture that Seth and Becky Lynch did when they both had the titles, where they're naked and wearing the titles around the jubbly bits.
Because they also AJ also did the one with CM Punk by putting the title in the fridge.
Yes, yes. I mean, nothing compared to what Paige/Shariah did with her NXT title and Xavier Woods, but that's a very old story. And let's just say there was a little bit of love juice put on the title. So that's the other two, leading us obviously to just finish off what Elimination Chamber results. I'm very pleased with myself that I called Rhea winning and switching brands, then backed up by that whole thing on Raw where they're basically saying goodbye to each other when she hasn't even won yet.
Yeah.
I think Rhea is going to become the title holder.
Well, she's going to SmackDown
Anyway.
this coming...
She's got to be able to pull promos with Jade, but this is what I was alluding to a few minutes ago. Have you seen the Twitter arguments between Chelsea, Piper, Rhea?
Yeah, but it's all got taken down. It's just to add hype to it.
The thing is that it was somebody saying that it's all well and good putting sass online. Becky's obviously a very good example of putting stuff online that's hilarious. Whereas I think that quite a few people involved in that online argument were not following kayfabe rules, and it was actually a genuine argument between different females.
I think that's why it's got taken down.
Very much so.
Everyone went against Jade Cargill, which is fair enough because she's a very boring title holder.
Not only that, do you remember...
And that bitch. Well, can you say anything else?
Reminds me of something that you'll know what I mean. It's like when The Darkness, the band, first came out. They got a Radio 1 viral single back in those days of being on Top of the Pops. Headlined Reading.
Yeah.
And then...
But now they kind of went and
they found their place again.
Yeah.
I think that Jade would be an incredibly strong IC title holder or US title holder. But I do also think that the reason that they've pushed this is because they got her from AEW labelled as a champion and they are paying her championship wages, so therefore she needed to be one. But it's a bit like when Tiffy and Charlotte Flair had off-script stuff happen in the ring. I think somebody might have been told to wind her neck in a little bit, being Jade. But I can see Rhea nursing her through a WrestleMania match and then making a more exciting title run on the title that she hasn't held yet.
It won't be Tiffy because she's now going into bodybuilding.
Is she?
Yeah, she's got her first competition in a few weeks' time.
I mean, to be fair, it's not one or the other. We've had quite a few bodybuilders do competitions and stay wrestling.
Yeah, well, look at Jaden.
Yeah. I mean, they had World's Strongest Man in Mark Henry years ago come across. So, yeah, no, I quite like it.
We pretty much called...
Everything, including you called Danhausen coming out as well.
I just couldn't remember his name, but literally I text you when I got home, didn't I?
Yeah.
Just like, this is the dude who looks like he's in Creeper.
I mean, a couple of things that since the debut I find interesting is, one, I found that debut incredibly disappointing, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, when they opened the box and the coffin was there, I was like, oh, was it Baby Undertaker?
Not only that, but when they had the dancers coming out, you could see all the way through to Gorilla.
Yeah.
But I think it was also just, I don't know if the pyrotechnics malfunctioned, but he went all the way down to ring with all of this pomp and circumstance, and like, is the way that one felt. However, when he came out to chat to Adam Pearce on Raw,
yes,
now I see why he's getting a push, because I was genuinely laughing at the point where he's like, I want one of those Paul Levesque pictures, you know, the famous ones where he points at you? He's like, I want that.
And then he got one on his Twitter.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, so he's actually another naturally funny person on
he'll be more sort of a backstage with like R-Truth kind of thing, because I don't think you're going to see R-Truth in the ring.
Not much more, no.
No,
I think
the guy is ancient.
Well, not only that, but I think the whole bringing back, we got him back, but I think both R-Truth and Creative, the ones that handle the contracts, are going to be very much like talking far more clearly next time the contract is up, because he can take a different like ambassadorship, like pundit style contract and still be around and doing R-Truth things. Because Booker T, the one that's on NXT as a commentator, he's used to be an in-ring performer for many years. He came across with the buying of WCW in 2001, I think it was, or 2002, one of the two. And then once he was done in the ring, he's done punditry, same as Corey Graves. He got quite injured years ago, which is why he moved into that role. I would quite like R-Truth's charm and funniness to be on a commentary somewhere or post-show or something like that.
But at the moment, he's doing good stuff, just adding to storylines, but in a jovial, comical kind of way. And I think that's how Danhausen will, who's he going to fight first?
I mean, the other one which I'm finding very, very funny at the moment, which given his debut against Cody, champion versus champion, was really wooden and stiff. But Oba Femi is making me laugh nearly every time he's on screen at the moment.
Yeah.
Because when he was trying to talk to Cody and be like a serious champion, I stopped paying attention to him because it was really boring. But
and then he got in the ring with Miz.
And Kit Wilson. And suddenly like, oh, this is why you're so loved in NXT, because you're actually really funny. And then the whole putting him against Rusev as well, that's a pro move, because Rusev was that character in the sense of unbeatable, huge threat when he came in years ago, because it was around 2010, I think he came in, around 2010. Rusev had like an undefeated streak of something like 132 matches or something like that. Call me out in the comments, I don't know how many it actually was. But Oba Femi is starting to have that type of main roster push where, because of his size, it makes all of the sense.
Well, he'll be the new Brock Lesnar if Lesnar retires this year.
I still think that Oba Femi might be the one that takes up Brock's open challenge. Because
it's like him or Gunther.
I mean, I think they're still going to get Gunther to retire him, but you've seen the footage, I guess, online where Brock decided he wanted out of the Rumble, so just told Cody to eliminate him, and that's why it happened at a really weird time. I wonder if he got gassed. Like, he tried to go, went for too long, and like, no, send me out before I get too tired and I start screwing things up. Because one thing that you can say about these big guys is if they start like losing the ability to keep people safe, they're suddenly a very dangerous wrestler throwing people about. So I reckon Brock, being whatever people think of him, is a very, very professional person in the ring, that if he can't do it, then he won't do it and he won't force himself through it. So I'm wondering whether it's Oba for WrestleMania, because just those two facing each other puts enough like love and push on Oba, even if he doesn't win. And then I think that Gunther is very much going to set his sights, and there's probably going to be a storyline where it's okay, you can kick Dragon Lee's ass, you can kick Jey Uso's ass. Goldberg was a lot more old and tired than Brock is. Yes, you've done it to Cena and AJ. Can you actually do the Beast Incarnate, or are you always going to choose people that you know you can beat? And I think there could be a really good storyline of Gunther maybe losing a match, possibly even WrestleMania, to Brock.
And then finish him off at SummerSlam.
That's my thinking. A bit more exciting than though I would find it hilarious if at WrestleMania the person that takes the open challenge of Brock Lesnar is Kit Wilson coming out and calling him toxic, because that would be hilarious. And then watching Brock just ragdoll him around the ring and like a plaything. It'd be like watching a big cat playing with a poodle, do you know what I mean? I think that'd be funny, but often the things I think funny never happen.
Well, we called everything on the card. Well, we didn't mention Seth coming back, but
no. But then again,
it was kind of almost predictable that a masked person was going to end up being.
Well, we also at that
Seth
point
freaking Rollins
had to take it as what had happened last, is that Jey Uso had won the Elimination Chamber qualifier. So there wasn't actually vision at the point that we did the predictions. If we had done it in the tiny window between SmackDown and Elimination Chamber, I probably would have said something like that, because it really, like, it could not keep going forever. But I loved it on Raw, where they decided to get Paul Heyman isolated in the ring.
Yeah.
By sending in like different masked people to firstly pull off security.
Yep.
Then pull off Austin Theory, then Logan Paul. What you may not have realised, and this is a lovely bit of like storytelling over decades, is the camera angle, the positions in the ring. It's the same chair shot that Seth did when he broke up the Vision years ago, one of the biggest like storyline changes.
Shield.
That's the one, not the Vision. Thank you, both of you. When he did that, it's exactly the same angle on Paul Heyman, and that's not done for no reason. Well,
Paul should have known it was coming then. Well, he probably wrote the storyline.
I was going to say, any time that Paul Heyman takes an injury, you know that outside of kayfabe, he's like, put me through a table, hit me with a chair, break my nose, all of this sort of stuff.
Well, that's what I've got to bring up, though, is like when they were carrying Paul Heyman out afterwards and he's all, that blood was too red. It was like...
Literally what Amanda just said.
Really?
Yeah, too red.
It was like your show. It was like, well, can you just go down to Pram and Toy or the kids' shop and get some powder paints and mix it up? I was just like...
I kind of wanted somebody like Danhausen to come out and do that moment from Scream where it's corn syrup, like they used in Carrie. However...
That was pig's blood.
Yeah. However... I really don't want to watch a 60-year-old man actually break his nose to bleed on screen, because that
No, but nowadays with all the different elements of prosthetics and makeup and whatnot, it was just like they must have just opened a different batch. Because if you remember whatever it was last year when Gunther was under the table and you actually saw him, they showed him actually breaking it. That looked more blood-like than whatever Paul Heyman. It looked like he had like a red Sharpie just drawn over it.
I mean, I watched a panto where somebody had done a better job of a goatee than that blood. But I got to be honest, like I say, for the fact they had to do it in ring with barely anybody getting what we'll call the Gunther shot, it made the point, and I'm very accepting these days because, and I think this is the thing when you come from watching the Attitude Era, is... It was horrible sometimes watching what these guys would do to each other in the Attitude Era to get real blood.
Yeah.
Including the blading where you can like open up an artery and everything like that. I will, and it may not be the most popular opinion with some people that like the classic open them up the hard way, but I would rather watch it and go, okay, it's fake blood, than knowing that, like I say, a 60-year-old man has actually broken his nose.
Well, that's why we watch
moment.
Horror films.
Exactly.
It can look gory as anything and messed up,
but it's fake.
But it's fake, and you can turn it off, and no one's actually got hurt.
I mean,
it's not as if they're in the Octagon. I know it's owned by the same company.
But that is why I was like, no, it's definitely fake. But I was very accepting of it because let's not
making fake look realistic.
Yeah, I would rather they work on that than ever, like I say, make a 60-year-old man actually bleed on screen, because that feels mean. Especially
someone like Paul Heyman, because he's a big guy. It's like once he's down, it's going to take its toll on his body either way.
I mean, I still remember watching. What was the solo bloodline before they became the MFTs, putting him through a table when he hadn't showered or washed or shaved for 48 hours or slept, so that he looked like the part he was playing. You can never, ever criticise Paul Heyman's commitment to selling these in-ring moments. Like, I think if you watch him for only a couple of months, you think, he's always avoiding actually doing much apart from talking. But that's what makes the moments where he does actually take moves from people. And another thing, you can Google this when we've finished recording, is watch Vince McMahon take various wrestling moves. And then you go, okay, so Paul Heyman is actually like good at taking wrestling moves, because Vince McMahon cannot sell anything. When he was in storyline and needed to take moves in the ring, he just can't sell them properly.
Well, it's like McAfee when he was up against Gunther last year. It's like... He took some slaps. You could see Gunther's hand marks on his chest.
Well, look at Pat McAfee's chest afterwards.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Actually, like,
welts and But
you remember I went to see Clash in the Castle.
I do.
That was the one where Sheamus was versus Gunther, and they slapped the shit out of each other so hard. I was up in the nosebleeds, and I almost got a nosebleed from the sound wave coming off the slaps. And then both of them left the ring and did pictures afterwards, and it was worse than Pat McAfee. Like, the one thing that makes me laugh about Sheamus is he is unapologetically like, if you're having a match with me, be prepared for it to be a little bit actually like an Irish fight, because I'm gonna slap the hell out of you to make it look real. And weirdly enough, it's those moments you don't realise watching. That live show I went to, I, in person, watched Solo come into the company for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was the masked guy that helped Roman at that point retain his title against Drew McIntyre, I think it was. And it was Solo that got demasked at Clash in the Castle. And I was kind of sat there going, I don't know who this is, apart from he kind of looks like a squat, fat Jey Uso. And
well, talking of a squash Jey Uso,
I mean,
he came back in Raw.
I did enjoy that actually, because I don't know why it makes me so happy to watch Jimmy and Jay look after each other as twins. Like, it shouldn't make me as happy as it does, but it was the sliding in of the crutch and then hobbling to attack as well. I was like, yeah, that's just good storytelling. And I mean, amazing recovery rate for Jay as well. Like,
whole weekend.
Like, it's almost like he wasn't injured and they did it for storyline.
And he didn't have to fly out to Chicago and back from, where was it, Minneapolis or something?
Yeah.
For SmackDown?
Yeah, because, the lack of a tag match at Elimination Chamber meant that if he wasn't actually in the Elimination Chamber, he didn't have to do much.
Exactly. He just had a weekend off to fly out to...
Exactly.
Where was it? Where was Raw? It was...
Oh, Christ. I can never keep track of where they are.
The Elimination Chamber was in Chicago when CM Punk came out to the 90s version of the Chicago Bulls entrance music.
I knew you would know that.
As soon as they showed him backstage, and I was just like, oh, he's getting ready, and the music's, because we all know his music.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I was like, oh, this is good. I was like, yes, this is the classic, Michael Jordan era, the, Chicago Bulls in the place where they became iconic legends. And then as soon as he comes out on stage,
he paused, didn't he? Because to go through he still had his music hit.
Yeah, then it went into his music. Yeah. It's just like, the crowd popped just for the Bulls music.
I mean, it's the same pretty much wherever. You can see when, and this is what I love about post Vince McMahon era, is he would deliberately take away that experience with like wrestlers returning home. AJ would never have been allowed to leave his gloves in Atlanta, Georgia. He would have been made to leave them in France, or wherever it was.
Dubai.
That's the one. That's the type of weird stuff that Vince never honoured. Whereas, say what you like about the creative team now, they do know how to show love to the hometowns of the wrestlers wrestling. Yeah,
it does. I brought this up last year, didn't I? Mm. It seems to be that if you're wrestling in your hometown, you will win. Because if you think...
Unless you're Finn Balor.
Right, yeah. But if you think like Sami Zayn won in Canada when he was wrestling at home.
Yes. Though he did lose in Riyadh for the first time ever. Because up until that point, Sami Zayn hadn't lost a... match in
Riyadh.
Yeah, so they're letting things build to look like their habits forming again, and then they smash it apart. One thing which I wasn't expecting, though I should have probably, is it was our second promo between Roman and CM on Raw.
Yeah.
And the first one, Roman's music played at the end because he ended up on top. I genuinely didn't expect CM to absolutely gut Roman Reigns the way that he did.
I'm gonna bury you next to your father. You could literally say he played that really well. Roman, he's just like, oh, you went there. But like the commentator was like saying afterwards, he was like, yeah, next week they're going to go after Larry the dog. I'm like, no, not Larry.
But this
just CM Punk's is recently deceased.
And they've adopted a new one.
They have,
So he might even go after saying, I hope your new dog dies, which would be horrible, but that's the type of thing.
It's the new dog with 2 titles in the house now.
But what I love about these two doing promos is they're just both the best in different ways.
It's going to get more and more dirty and heated.
And it's great.
6 weeks of it.
Because their characters are not necessarily wrestlers, but their characters are so arrogant. You have the guy that calls himself the best in the world, and the guy that says, I'm the head of the table, I'm the OTC, I'm the big dog, and I carried the company through the transition of...
Acknowledge me.
Exactly. They're just so good at tearing each other to shreds on stage. I don't even need the match as much as I need the promo between those two to carry on the way it is.
Things don't you want to be like sat in the table in the booth next to their booth in the dark corner of the pub when they're coming up with what we're going to insult each other with next week, because they're BFFs outside,
or at least professional enough that because I know that CM's feuded with people he doesn't like personally very much, but that I don't think a lot of fans, and I'm still getting my head around it, realise that even if you don't like each other, you're professional enough that you're going to, allow a lot of nasty comments to each other. That's why on Unreal there was such a big thing about Tiffy saying something that she shouldn't have done to Charlotte Flair, because it gives you an idea how approved everything actually is. And they're trying to say that it happened between Roman and CM, that he shouldn't have said the father comment. I'm like, no. There is no way, with the person that CM has proved to himself to be behind kayfabe, that he would ever say something that nasty to Roman, because...
Roman probably told him to say it, to be fair.
And it's something...
But then Phil...
Yeah, I love that as well. Yeah. Come on, Phil.
Just strips away the kayfabe and just calls him his real name.
I mean, I'm surprised that CM didn't call him Joe back.
It's going to happen, Yeah. Once he goes after Larry.
I mean, I love it because it is fantastic to see, because when Roman won originally, I was like, this is either going to go really, really well, like it is, or it's going to be absolute crap because they don't know how to make these two personalities go to war against each other. But the fact that they are doing it so well, and it's like, oh, did you get upset about something I said on a podcast?
Yeah.
There's just so many good things at the moment, and it was something that MJF actually said on the recent Insight podcast he did with Chris, is he's like, you either love Punk for his ability to turn his standpoint on a dime so that he can say whatever he wants, or you hate him for it. Because you either love the fact that Punk can be of one opinion 6 months at one point and 6 months later do the opposite. But MJF also said the same thing about himself. He's like, if I'm in AEW, it's the best promotion in the world and I will make you believe that I believe it. But if I was in WWE, I would tell you that's the best promotion in the world.
Well, it's like
and I'll make you believe
every
it.
band we've seen, isn't it?
Oh, Christ, yeah.
Donington, you're so much louder than last night in Germany. It's like... Yeah, right.
Whereas when we've done the follow the tour, because we've done a few of those, and it's exactly the same thing from the vocalist every night. But you know what? I still sit there and I still want to hear that.
Yeah.
I know it's fake. I know it's bullshit. But I still want to be told that I'm the loudest city that they've been in recently. Because it's just part of the shtick. It's part of the...
It's the hype. It's getting the crowd interacting.
But also hardly anybody does every night. And there's a lot of people, like the same people that believe parts of kayfabe like it's real life, are the same people where they're going to a gig. It's probably their only gig that they've done in like 2 years or something, and they've waited. Because, again, one of my students is really excited because he's not been to a gig in like about 18 months. And so he's probably going to believe everything that the band says on stage because he's been hungering for the live scene for 18 months.
Yeah.
Now, I've only done one televised wrestling event, but I was still sat there believing everything that they told me in the ring, like we were the best that they had ever been at. Admittedly, it was the first UK PLE in like 30 years, so there was a lot of excitement anyway. But I still want to be sat there in the crowd, knowing, jaded professional that I am in the music industry, knowing it's fake, I still want that type of interaction from my vocalist or from my wrestler. And it's why, because we get criticised from time to time on the radio show. We do a radio show, new music for 2 hours, links below, lots of interviews. There's like people from Jackass. This man has a very, very innate ability to find the interesting interviews that other people aren't doing, or the facts within an interview where they're doing a press circuit and you get stuff out of people that nobody else does.
It's been 18 years of practice.
But we still get from time to time a few comments here or there going, would you ever have a negative opinion about something apart from Ghost? Because you're always like excited. I'm like, but that's my job. It's a new music radio show. I'm not going to sit there and slay new bands that have put all of their time and effort into creating music, and me on my little radio show go, I don't like it because it's not Kill Switch Engage from 2006.
To be fair, if I thought it was rubbish, you wouldn't get it onto the show.
That's kind of...
I've said it a billion times. I've got a very stringent three-phase approach to listening to or getting your track on the show. Yeah. First of all, you've got to send it to us. I'm not hunting it out. I get sent so much stuff anyway. But
effort is worth it.
I listen to it in my van because I drive 10 hours a day. So if it makes it from the van back into the next inbox, which is my personal inbox, then I listen to it at home. And then when I'm putting this show together, if it might not even make it it might make it through phase one because I'm not stuck in traffic and it's an easy drive. But then I go home and the cat's been sick and it's put me in a bad mood or something. So I listen to it again and it's like, nah. Or the cat comes up and gives me cat licks and I'm like, yeah. So it makes it through to the third phase. And then I listen to it on the day of like putting the show together. I'm like, actually.
Because I had a band
it's very stringent. There's method to this madness.
Well, the thing is as well, I found a band, I can't even remember the band's name because it's not that important. I found a band that their Facebook ad hooked me in. So I was like, oh, cool, I'll go find this on Spotify. And it's because they do a metalcore cowboy breakdown with banjos. And that's the advert, is they're all messing around.
Gideon?
No. I would tell you if it was
Gideon. That's cowboy core.
This is like proper... like the Bloodywood combination of Bhangra and metalcore. So you have Bhangra and metalcore, it's not one or the other. And so I'm listening to this song, and I spent probably about a good few minutes trying to work out which song I'd actually seen on the advert. Because the first 2 minutes of the song this bit that was on the advert featured on, excuse me, it doesn't sound anything like the rest of the song. Now, I really like the beatdown at the end of the song with the banjos. It makes me smile, it's funny. They even do a little bit where there's a sub dropped into howdy, and it's funny, it's good. But, and if you do see this band, I'm not criticising you, but the rest of the track just doesn't pass muster for our show. Because it's very generic metalcore up until that point. It's not bad, but it's not great. And for the 30 seconds at the end of the track, that's not enough to get you promoted and played and us doing a little bit of a chat about it.
But isn't that taking on like what the movies do? It's like, here's this new movie, here's your 30-second advert, and then go, actually, you just put all the best bits of the movie into your advert.
And that's the thing, is I still remember my excitement at the Michael Bay second Transformers movie, that everything that you saw in the trailer was in the first 10 minutes of the film. They had given nothing else away about the rest of the movie. So if it's the opposite, where you're like, every good part of this is actually in the trailer, then yeah, it doesn't pass muster. And I still listen to the track. I'm still giving them an occasional play because it did make me smile like that. But there's an awful lot of stuff that I'll pick up like that because, you know, especially on Facebook now, there's a lot of releasing artists where it's like one or two people and they've programmed their drums or got a session drummer in. But they're not a band that's going to go on tour. They're just people releasing music. So... Well,
I've got a new favourite band, which is a bit like that.
I mean, which one have you got?
Well, there's been two awesome releases recently. One's a proper band with full members, which is the new Rob Zombie album.
Fair.
The Great Satan. It's back to Rob Zombie being Rob Zombie. But the one I was thinking of is TX2. That album is double chef's kiss, but...
I'm glad you joined me on that, because it was about a year ago I found
all about the main guy. The rest of the
a little bit. I mean, they feature a lot in the social media videos because they do such good send-ups of emo music. Like, I've seen them absolutely rip themselves to shreds.
Yeah.
But do you know one of the main reasons why he's so popular?
TikTok.
Well, no, obviously that's where it's exemplified. No, it's because for most of the time they've been on tour, is all you have to do is get a Pokemon trading card, hold it up in the crowd, and then he'll trade cards with you from stage.
Sweet. My nephew has got thousands, I'm sure he can lend me one, and we'll try and get an interview at Download. And
I mean, the funny thing is that it's such a simple, silly thing. But we also know that Logan Paul, because he keeps talking about it, has sold his most expensive Pokemon card.
He did. He made millions.
But it's that weird thing that we've seen in other bands do, where something that you wouldn't expect to make them popular. Because like I say, TX2 for me is a year, 18 months ago I found them because of TikTok and the Pokemon trading. I really like Pokemon. I play a lot of it. And
the new game is out. Pokemon Build, not Destroy.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to play that one yet.
Because you haven't finished the others.
No, I still got loads to work through.
Got to catch them all.
But because of the fact I play it and I say the word a lot, TX2 came up on my recommended reels because of the fact I like Pokemon and talk about it enough.
Okay.
And so I knew about the trading cards thing because I found it really funny that he did that from stage. But it was when he was like a small Warp Tour, like, you know, the smaller stages at festivals.
Yes.
That's where like a lot of the original footage came from of him doing trades from stage. It's great. I like if it means that kids are, because you get a genuine reaction from him when you hold up an interesting card. But what I love about this guy, for all of the stuff that he writes about, the way the band comes across, is he has the same kindness as a lot of wrestlers do that you see, where you can tell maybe the person is having got some, you know, learning disabilities or something.
On the spectrum.
Something like that. And they're not holding up a popular card. You can see him on stage, like a lot of wrestlers do when somebody's holding up a certain type of sign. They're processing who the person is to know how to treat them.
Well, did you see Rhea Ripley signed one of her trading cards recently?
Yes.
She didn't sign it, she just drew a little devil on it.
Yeah.
Which is quite cool.
And I mean, I've even got WWE Top Trumps, which I agree with some of the ratings on there and not others.
I've got Batman ones.
Nice.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I actually waited in a queue for the toilet with Batman today. You know, the one that goes around our hometown?
Oh, in
the actual Batmobile.
Nice.
So I was talking to him about how difficult it is to take the codpiece off and stuff like that. And I was dancing from foot to foot because he was ahead of me. Right?
Pinch in the end.
Yeah. I did hit, I will not repeat on the podcast what he said to me after I did this, but he obviously, like, the usual side to a UK man is he held the door open for me so I could go in. So as I went past, I said, "Thanks, Superman." It was so funny. I will not tell you what I heard him say back because it was very much not safe for the YouTube filter on swearing. It was one of the more severe swear words, shall we say. Yes. But he did. I did.
Something to do with yesterday?
It's something to do with anatomy.
Okay, because yesterday was, you know, you can work it out.
I'm not going to out loud. But no, he called me a part of the body that I don't have, which has 4 letters.
Yeah.
But then I also had a big peal of laughter as well.
Or tomorrow, see you on Thursday.
No, see you next. It's always see you
I wasn't
next.
going to spell it out.
No, I just said see you next.
Yeah.
So yeah, that word. But I did also hear a big peal of laughter afterwards because I think he's so used to people treating him like Batman. For me just to say thanks, Superman, as I walked in was hilarious.
You should have really like demasked him and go, "Thanks, Bruce."
Well, I figured that's probably what he gets from most people. And I was stood there debating, should I say thanks, Aquaman, as I walked in? Because that's the most insulting one to call people.
Especially coming out of the toilet.
That's also what I thought about saying it. But no, I thought Superman was probably the best one.
Shall we? Talking of masked people, Penta's the new...
Isn't he just?
That was awesome.
To be honest, I'm glad that for somebody as popular as that, they let the title slow build on him. Because rather than him coming into the company and having a big moment, immediately followed by the next big moment, he's proven since he came into the company how capable he is of wrestling everybody, how beloved he is as well. Nobody has a bad word to say about him.
We had it earlier this year, didn't we, when we said who's got the best mask, and I was like, Penta has.
Yeah, I mean, it's still not my favourite, but that's because Axiom is mine. It looks like a motorcycle helmet. That's the main reason I like Axiom so much. Even if his tag partner is a bit of a neck breaker. Did you catch that?
Yes, we covered that.
No. But that was a bit unfair on Fraser because the first thing he did once he realised what had happened is you can see the utter shock and then sort of disgusted himself that he had done something like that. And I'm pretty confident I've seen it online that the guy that happened already doesn't blame him for it, because it's like, that's just a very common thing with big injuries. Even the guy that injured Big E, so you know the member of that, Big E's not angry with him in the slightest. It's one thing that I think people need to pay a lot of attention to with injuries, is that listen to the wrestler, apart from if it's Bret Hart, about how they feel about the other person, because most of them, apart from Bret Hart, don't blame the other person.
No, it's all sport, isn't it?
Yeah, it's only people that don't really have much else to say these days. Bret Hart if I hear I hate Goldberg one more time, I'm going to make him go have a little sandwich group with, you know, maybe Dave Mustaine from 10 years ago, where he still hated Metallica. He can't say it about him now. But maybe Bret Hart should spend some time with Dave Mustaine, because Dave is all full of love. He's covering Metallica on his last ever album to show that the dispute is finally over. So maybe Bret Hart does need to spend some time with Dave Mustaine. Dave can get some bitter out of him, you know?
Talking of injured people, we need to wish our favourite musician, Jelly Roll, good luck, to get better soon, because he wiped out and has completely buggered his shoulder and his collarbone. And
he's had a pretty nasty injury. I've missed that one.
Yeah, and there's footage of him in hospital with the neck brace on, and he's just joking around. He's obviously on the morphine, I'd imagine, and the pain relief. But yeah, his shoulder is it was out here. And he came off a 4x4 quad bikey type thing, a bit like Ozzy did.
I mean, not as bad as, what's his name? The guy that played Hawkeye.
Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he saw his own eye.
Yeah, I mean, that man, out of all of the Avengers, is the one in real life that's proved himself to be an Avenger.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God, to get back to any semblance of the life that you had before that, don't get me wrong, he's got the money for the best treatment, but he still had to have a will of iron to actually fight his health back to where it is. With Jelly Roll, I'm pleased that the injury didn't come out of wrestling, because that would have been a sad end to that story for him if he got injured wrestling.
Yeah. But yeah, he shattered his collarbone and tore up all of his shoulder. So get well soon, Jelly.
Yep. But this is also why, Jelly, if you want to pack on when you're well again, a lot more muscle. AJ did it after injuries. Logan's done it after an injury. If you pick up Tama Tonga has also done it. One of the best ways that you can protect your joints and your bones is to actually have a lot more muscle than not.
Probably 2 years ago, Jelly would have just bounced coming off of a 4x4.
You remember the Mythbuster guys?
No, vaguely.
So they got quite popular for a minute. One of them had the twiddly mustache. The other one had like the signature glasses. Yeah. They did a bunch of shows as to and it's not meant to be insulting to fat people, but how fat do you have to be to stop a bullet? How fat do you have to be to actually bounce and stuff like that? They never did it with a person, which made me really respect them.
Yeah, that's fair enough. You wouldn't...
No, that's mean. To even do like any type of test. But they did work out how big a person would have to be for the fat to stop a bullet.
Well, what do you mean? It wouldn't stop it, would it? Because it still go in. You mean stop it for hitting a...
Decelerate it enough that it didn't tear apart your organs is, I believe, what they're aiming for.
Yeah.
But they also proved that no matter how big you get, you're never going to bounce. Was another thing which they did.
No, because the force distribution would dissipate through, and it's like that bit in The Simpsons where they punch Homer Simpson and it just goes.
Well, doesn't it? There's another one where they punch him and then the punch comes back at them because it's used the force of motion.
Yeah. Also, Homer Simpson would catch the cannonballs from in the circus.
Yeah.
Was it Lollapalooza, I think? With
that's an old storyline. I don't. It has to be because I don't watch Simpsons anymore.
Yeah, I don't.
90s Simpsons was. But then again,
I think it was the Lollapalooza one where they had all the bands because Smashing Pumpkins were in it and stuff, and they were like, Homer the
cannonball catcher.
Yeah.
I mean, I still love the episode where he's running on a treadmill. And the people doing the health test on him are just hypnotised by the belly jiggle of him running. That's probably a good... we're getting to the point we need to finish the podcast, I think. But yeah, make sure that you keep tuned. We don't have any like serious WWE things, but we are working on.
We've got 6 weeks until.
Yeah, we got some
Mania,
other themes to get through.
Yeah, we can.
Exploring some of our other interests.
There's no NFL.
No, but we've got one thinker that would be quite fun for next week, but it might require a little bit of us watching stuff over the weekend. I think more so me, because I'll explain to you once we stop.
Okay.
But yeah, we're going to...
Keep an eye on the volcanoes.
Yes. And every other doomsday thing that is currently happening. I mean,
There's a lot of it happening at the very moment, yes.
You can't live where we live without just watching... Like, because they said, this sea wall is never going to get damaged. Oh, wait, it's already damaged. So, yeah, the world is falling apart, and we're probably all going to die.
Woo!
See you next week.